You're watching Apostle Simon Mokoena.
Right here, right now with me, I've got Palesa Maposa. My sister, such an intro. But how can I forget to mention that she's also a life coach? That is something not to forget, especially if you're a survivor. My sister, Palesa, please tell us, speak to us. How do you know the apostle, and how do you find this program that he's pushing about the anti-abuse campaign? Share with us, please.
Thank you so much. What an honor and a privilege to be here today. Blessed are those who believe, for they will find favor in the Lord. Amen. Kokezo, the apostle and I, yes, I only met him today, but I think the connection was there a long time ago when I got healed through his prayers, through the miracles that is used by God through him. I loved him from the moment I set my eyes on him. I loved him as a father. I loved him as Christ loved his church. That's how I got to meet the apostle via social media. And I've been battling to get hold of you guys. And because you know, God's timing is never late. His timing is always perfect. And hence, nago nake matla, mudimu nasontukisi. So, ebe are no, be still and know that I am God.
Amen.
For I indeed have found favor with the Lord. And today I am here. I actually called my sister Lebo, hey, guess what? And then there was no response. And all of a sudden, boom, in my inbox, here's one. And I'm like, hello.
Now, Palesa, can you please share your story? We're sorry to take you back to that day. Because on that day that I spoke to you, you mentioned that the last time you were in Rustenburg was when that tragedy happened to you.
Yes.
We're sorry to take you back to that.
No, it's okay.
There's someone you're going to help out there. There's someone you're going to heal. Can you please share your story with us? What happened?
It's not okay, but today it is okay for me to share my story. In 2005, Rustenburg, corner of Rietbok and Leeds. I was abducted. It was on a Friday, August the 25th, a day when my life just fell into pieces. I had, like I've mentioned, I've suffered depression, I've suffered a stroke, and I had just recovered. But then even though I was not fully recovered, I was offered a job in Rustenburg as a credit controller. There was then a company called Wetrock, which was manufacturing cleaning detergents for hospitals. And our head office was in Honeydew. And because of that, I was still limping, not yet fully recovered, as I've mentioned. My boss then agreed that they will drive me to and forth the guest house. I was booked at a guest house at the corner of Leeds and Haystack. And unfortunately that day, my boss got delayed at our head office. And I said, it's okay, I'll take a taxi because it's not that far. And unfortunately, that was the day that people allowed themselves to be used by the devil. I stood at the robot. It was, remember, we had just come out of winter. And I saw a taxi. And for me, it was safe because there were two women inside. And then I stopped the taxi. I got in. At the time, I didn't understand what was happening. But then after the incident, then I realized, okay, this is what actually happened. I got into the taxi. The next stop, the lady got off. She signed at the other lady, and then, okay, it was just a sign to me at the time. And there were 7 men inside, including the driver. So after the first one got off, 2 stops later, the next one got off. And then the third stop, I was supposed to get off. And I said to the driver that I am getting off at the corner of Lates and Haystack. And the guy next to me says, "Hey, Tula wena." And then I tried to, because I didn't know what was happening at the time. I tried to, because I was just sitting right behind the driver, the rearview mirror, staring at the rearview mirror, trying to sign here, like, dude, there's something happening, I don't understand. Only to realize that all 7 of them were actually working together. And this is a time when I had just resigned from Nedbank in Brits, so my pensions and everything were paid in. And unfortunately, my daily limit then was just 1,000 rand. So they got greedy. We stopped, there was some deserted garage. I'm not too familiar with Rustenburg though. There was a deserted garage. We went there, they withdrew money from my card, and then they saw that there was still a lot. And they kept me Friday. And before that, I said to the driver, I'm getting off, and then only for the driver to take like an opposite direction. And this is when I started panicking. I didn't know what to do. We then drove to this nearby garage where money was withdrawn from my account. And then there was still more, they wanted more. They kept me Saturday morning. We got into a bank. I was told to tell the teller that we've got a funeral back home, because this is when the only time that I'll be able to access a lump sum of money when I'm inside the bank. And I actually felt that the teller had failed me, because coming from a banking environment, we know what to look at. You know, we are taught these things, like the signs are there. If someone is in destitute or panic mode, you should immediately be able to pick up. But then unfortunately that day, the teller failed me. And this guy, he had on a coat, and underneath his coat, he had a gun. So remember, I told the cashier that we've got a funeral back home. So they thought this guy was my husband or someone that is accompanying me. So we withdrew a lump sum of money. And but then they could not still give me more. And then I said, no, this is all that I need. And then this guy insisted, no, we need more. And I'm like, no, the funeral cost is only this much. So I stood still. We got out, they went, bought booze, and it was just happening. Saturday morning, we went again to the ATM, we withdrew more money. And then, I had to raise my limit as well. So we withdrew more money outside of the ATM. From there, they got so drunk, I think that they didn't know what was happening. And we drove off, I didn't know where we were going. Only to find out later that we were in Tembisa. And I was so fortunate back then that there was an app that Vodacom had. It was called Look For Me, where you register and then they will be able to trace you via. I had an 8310 Nokia. So they thought that they had broken my phone. You know, the thing about Nokia is that you can just reassemble the pieces and then life goes on. So one by one, they had their turns with me until all 7 of them were done. And as they were raping me, something came to me. I started opening up and reciting Psalm 23. And I strongly believe that the Lord is my shepherd, and this is nothing that is sent by him. And while they were busy doing that, I opened up Psalm 91 as well, because I needed him to protect me. And as they were busy, I actually made an agreement with God. That was the moment that my life started turning around, and I gave my life to God. I told God, if you save me from this and everything else, all the sickness, everything, I will turn my life around for you. I will serve you and I will serve your people. I become very emotional, not because I am in pain, but I become emotional when I talk of the greatness of God and what he has done in my life. And they left me there. They thought that, I don't know, because I was battered. And they drove off. I didn't know where I was. Reassembled my phone. The first thing that I called was Vodacom, because I needed to locate someone. I don't know where I was. And then they said they tracked me via satellite. You are here. They sent people. And rescue came. I was then I felt comfort because I was born in Soweto. I said, I called my aunt, Dr. Mampela Rampele. And I said to her, Rakadi, this is what happened. And she says, where are you? I'm like, I'm on my way. She says, let them bring you to Baragwana Hospital. So I went to Baragwana Hospital. They did not waste time. So I was on a treatment, 30-day treatment. Back then they were called Combi-Vez. So no, I know what it's like to take ARVs because I went through all that. It's not a shame. And people are always saying, like, you know what, people that take ARVs are crazy. Yes, those things do. Back then, they used to drive us very crazy. Because now you are busy fighting this demon that's within you and you don't know what to do. I resigned from work. I was very suicidal. I went through depression. I can relate with my previous, my sister there, that you know what, you feel all those things and it's only human for you to feel that. And it doesn't make you less of a person for you to feel that. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. And in your crying, it's okay to allow yourself to heal as well. Do not beat yourself up about it. Because many a times, this is when people are told that you were raped because you were wearing a short skirt. I was raped. I was wearing a long pants, by the way. I was wearing a denim. I was wearing a coat. I was wearing boots. And I was raped. So it's not a question of what you're wearing. It's a question of if a person allows the evil spirit to get into them, this is what happens. So my sister, that is my story in a nutshell. But today, I am not a victim. Now I'm a survivor. I am a survivor and I'm a survivor and I'm a survivor. And this thing that hashtag all men are trash, I stand against it. Because I was interviewed by Metro FM and they were asking me, so what is your take on all men are trash? And I'm like, whoa, I've got a son. I've got a son and my son is no trash. My son is no trash. I've got brothers. I've got people that I know and they are not trash. It doesn't matter, we cannot all be painted in one brush. It doesn't matter who did what to you. It doesn't mean that the next person has to suffer for that. So all men are not trash. That thing must fall.
It definitely must fall. Now tell us, how did the police force act towards this? Did you report the case? Did you get justice for the wrongdoing that was done to you? Did you get help? Apart from counseling, but then via the justice system, did you get help?
My sister, yes, I got help. I managed to identify 5 out of the 7 men that raped me. And they were all arrested. And for me to find closure and healing, I wanted to face fear in the eye. I remember they were at, Sun City, a prison in Sun City. And I said, for me to move on, I need to face them and tell them what they did to me and tell them what I felt. And tell them, and then I needed to ask them so many questions. So I remember there was a time that they were having also this anti-abuse and, awareness. And then I asked to be part of that panel. Remember, they had forgotten because for them it was just a minute of pleasure. And this is a scar that I will forever carry. But in my scars don't define the person that I am. They do not define my life's journey. Because without me having to tell you my story, you wouldn't know what I've been through. So I am greater than my scars. They were there, and then I started narrating, sharing the story about this girl that went through 1, 2, 3. They didn't know who I was. Later, because I asked for them to be lined up in front. Later, after I've shared my story, I disclosed that I am that woman that was abused, raped, battered, and left shattered, and to die probably by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if because it was just a pleasure for them. they had forgotten. But then I think, Lebona, Heneba, Lekamotronkong, you know, somewhere, somehow, at the back of your subconscious mind, you know what you did. And then they ran up to the stage, and then like, please forgive us. I said to them, I forgave you the day you laid your hands on something that was not yours. I forgave you then. What is left for you to do now is for you to seek forgiveness from him. But I will pray for you. I will pray for you more than I pray for myself, because we need the deliverance. We need for people to be delivered. And for them to be delivered, this is where we need to pray for them. Deliverance doesn't just come. So this is what I did, my sister. Healing for me started that day. And because I believe, I also, before I went to prison, vengeance, I enrolled within the police force, mind you. But then I wasn't going there because it was a calling. I was going there because I was bitter. And I specifically wanted to be signed in this unit that work with these perpetrators, because I wanted to kill, destroy, and cause as much pain as they did to me. But then because that was not God's plan, Kabo Phelo Baka, he switched things around. I don't know how. But then it is only, that's why and no one will ever begin to understand. Since no, we're still looking for, you know what? God has closed it. I have closed that chapter. I have healed. What is left for me to do is to continue. I think the apostle spoke about the 3 C's. What is left? It's the calling, commitment, and connection. What is left for me are the 3 C's. And this is what I'm doing. I have closed that chapter. So now what I can do is just to help people to overcome the very same way that I have overcome, Sister Koketsu.
Wow.